Hi guys! When the Mandalorian movie is out today, in this video I'll be talking about how I got into Star Wars, what things I checked out, and when did I begin to burn out in the Star Wars fan base. It's also the sort of way to tie within the rise and fall of Star Wars, and will the Mandalorian and Grogu film do okay in theaters? Okay, so we all know that Star Wars happened in 1977, created by George Lucas. Now, as far as how I started being a Star Wars fan, my first movie would have been The Phantom Menace that came out in 1999, only because I may have recalling seeing it when I was about 2 years old at home, because I remember owning a VHS tape of it. Somewhere in there, I also remember owning the original trilogy on VHS tapes too, and I have zero clue if I ever was shocked about the "I am your father" quote. But sooner or later, over the years, I have gotten DVDs and the Blu-ray box set. While I may have seen Attack the Clones in Channel 2, Channel 3 was when Star Wars The Clone Wars came out on Cartoon Network. This show was originally supposed to tie into the Revenge of the Sith film, but got rebooted in 2008. However, 2005 was the biggest year of all time in Star Wars, because that year had a lot of things going on. I remember the promotion of the Revenge of the Sith film, like the Spoon commercial, for example. When it comes to action figurines or other things, I am aware of Hasbro's Black Star Wars series, but when I was younger, I used to do some smaller figures, like here are some of the Star Wars Clone Wars toys I had. I even used to have lightsabers, the Clone Wars helmet, and as well as a cool volcano set that came with Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi, plus some other movie figures too. But what's interesting is that when I went to my local toy store, Neefle, I actually bought some Kenner older Star Wars figures as well. I also left out one more figure that I don't mind talking about, but pretty much the only Hasbro Black Series Star Wars figure I bought was a George Lucas as a Stormtrooper costume. For LEGO sets, I used to have General Grievous Chase, Darth Vader TIE Fighter, and some random minifigures that you could buy separately. P.S. I used those minifigures for stop motion back in the days. When it comes to the Star Wars video games, here are some of the games that I have here throughout the years from different franchises and more. Like I have Star Wars Bounty Hunter, Clone Wars, Episode 3, plus the Star Wars Battlefront franchise, which has been one of my favorites, including the Force Unleashed game. You can also play some of the older games too on PS4. And my favorite one would be the LEGO Star Wars franchise that got me into LEGO and as well as the other LEGO games out there. As for the Star Wars books, I am aware of some of the Marvel epics that done those, as well as some of the legacy stuff too. But pretty much when I was a kid, I had DK books, encyclopedias, a little bit of some novels, and some other things too here and there. Plus a comic book, and yeah. However, I do recall reading some of the older legend books from the library at elementary school, such as the Galaxy of Fear book series, the Courtship of Princess Leia, and the Glove of Darth Vader series. And honestly, I think I may have read the whole 6-book saga because I know that I have read the Sopra the Hunt's Revenge book. The only Star Wars show that I had before on DVD was called Star Wars Droids, and that was it. Now, 2012 was, well, how the Star Wars fan base view it was pretty much where it felt like it was the downfall of Star Wars when Disney bought Lucasfilms. And I think I remember the news about it, but I do know that they aired Star Wars Rebels in 2014 on Disney XD. Somewhere in there during high school, I saw the trailer for Force Awakens. At first I thought it was fan-made, which I don't know why that threw me off somehow, because I don't recall hearing about a new Star Wars film. But I did hear about the new video games coming out, like Star Wars Battlefront in 2015 and LEGO Star Wars Force Awakens. Over the years, I have seen the rest of the sequels and solo films too. I know some of them were not that well received, but they have some good moments. But what really fell off for me and the start of being burned out was when Disney Plus came out and put out its first show called The Mandalorian. While it is a great show with some good episode moments, sooner or later this is where it feels like Star Wars was nothing but TV. While I have seen shows like The Book of Boba Fett, Obi-Wan Kenobi, I hardly finished up Ahsoka and have no interest of seeing Endor, the Acolyte, and the Skeleton Crew. But the Clone Wars anime show did have a revival season later, but for some reason I never felt like watching The Bad Bunch or the latest Star Wars Mole show. Similar to Marvel, I was getting disappointed with some Star Wars content due to so many shows taking place back and forth on the continuity. You don't even know what Star Wars is about anymore, or what these shows got to do with the films. At least the films don't reference the shows, but now we have a new Star Wars movie coming out that may bring in some red flags, or maybe it won't. The Mandalorian and Grogu movie can probably be seen as a new welcome back to theaters for a long time since 2019, and the only thing about this movie is that it connects to the TV show, which kind of brings in some concernings and screams Disney did not learn their lesson or anything of why Marvel has some problems. But I'll give this film a try, and maybe it won't confuse the old and new Star Wars fans. I guess you could say I'm more of a casual Star Wars fan who probably just prefer watching the movies and the Clone Wars anime show, and that's pretty much it. Because I can totally tell that future parents would probably skip all the shows and the sequels and maybe the books too. So it was about 10 years ago, I went to a family vacation to visit my aunt and uncle and my cousins. They pretty much took me to Lucasfilm Studios. It was the coolest experience ever. I even have a picture of me as well, holding a lightsaber, pretending I'm a Jedi. But all in all, I still like Star Wars, and even if it has some up and downs, it's still a good franchise. I'm hoping that this film might do something, probably make a review about it when I see it, and they even announced a new Star Wars film for next year, if it's not going to be delayed. Oh, and here's a picture of me watching the theater version of Star Wars for the first time on VHS tape. And while I was Darth Vader in Jango Fett for Halloween years ago, here's a picture of me wearing a custom Obi-Wan Kenobi costume I made for Halloween. So that is it for this video. What were some of the things that got you into Star Wars? And as always, thanks for watching and see you guys next time. Bye! If you enjoyed that video, please subscribe, share a like, ring the notification bell, and check out other videos in my channel too. Thanks for watching. Bye!